So this is a short video to show you how to animate a butterfly in flight. And the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the rig. And the rig I've chosen here is called the Mariposa, which is Spanish for butterfly, and I found it here at TurboSquid. Here it is at TurboSquid. It's called Butterfly by David Gamino, though the actual rig itself is called Mariposa. And it is rigged. It's a very nice rig. It comes in a variety. It comes with a 3 different butterflies. You can make it. It's nicely rigged. It does cost $35, however, so this is not a free rig. So you will have to pay $35 to download it. Now, when we download it, there's a slight problem with the textures. So the first thing that I'm going to do is apply a new shader to it, because the shaders that come with it aren't working very well for me. So I'm just going to turn on polygons, and making sure that Select Surface Objects is turned on, I'm going to drag select the surface geometry and apply a new, so I'm going right click. You can't see this, it's running off the screen, but I'm going to assign favorite material Lambert, and that will apply a new Lambert, which in this case is Lambert 2, because of course Maya comes automatically with Lambert 1. So now let's name this and call this Mariposa shader, and let's go ahead, and because the body is already UV mapped, we should be able just to click on the little checker pattern, click on File, and now start searching for the one that we want. This is yellow, that's Spanish for yellow. Azul is Spanish for blue, and let's go for monarch, because that's a monarch butterfly, which is very pretty. So if I now open up that and press 6 on my keyboard, I should get a beautiful butterfly, and there it is. So now I can go ahead and turn my NURBS curves back on, and now we can start animating. Well, actually, before we do that, we want to go and have a look at we want to set a nice pose for our butterfly. So let's go have a look at poses of butterflies in flight. So I've just searched Google for butterflies in flight, and I'm looking for a nice pose of a butterfly flying. I can see this one's quite nice, and I can see it's kind of got its legs tucked between it, and it's sort of angled into the air there. Let's see if I can find a better one. That's quite a nice one there. I can see the legs are kind of tucked behind it. So the first thing I want to do is take these legs. Actually, why don't I select all of them at once? So I'm shift selecting them, holding down the shift key. Shift selecting all the legs and pulling them down and moving them back a little bit. And actually, this isn't going to work very well. I'm going to have to do this individually. So let's just take these ones, post those back there. Then these ones. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to have to do this by hand, the slow, hard way. I don't need to get this perfect, but I do want the legs to look nice and look like they're trailing behind the creature as it's flying through the air. That's the basic idea. So, first job is to create, as always, is to create a nice pose. There we go. That's starting to look reasonably sensible. Remember, the butterflies fly through the air very, very fast, so we really can't see them. Our eyes can't fix on them; they move too quickly. So we don't want to spend too much time on this. Okay, so there we go. There's one butterfly flying through the air. Now, we're creating a 4-frame flap cycle, the one taken from the Animator's survival kit. It is here. Body down at frame 1, wings up. Body up at frame 3, wings down. Body down at frame 5 and wings up. That's our basic formula for the flap cycle. So we've kind of got that at frame 1. So let's go ahead and well, first thing we've got to do is set our timeline. We're not going to set it to 5 frames because that would be silly. So let's set it to 17. And we'll do the cycle for 17 frames. So let me go ahead and keyframe the body at frame 1, and frame 17, and frame 9, and frame 5, and frame 13. So I've got the body going up and down. And let me make sure that I'm in my multi-view. So saved layouts animation, which is the three-way split. And I'll create a camera view in a bit. So the perspective view on the right will change to a camera view. So there's the route control. See, he spelled it wrong, route, but that's all right. We'll forgive him. And at frame 3, we want the body to be traveling down. So let's pull the body down at frame 3, up at 5, down at 7, down at 11, down at 15. If I check my translate Y curve, I can make sure these are reasonably similar. They don't have to be exactly the same. So I could maybe add a little bit of kind of turbulence in this, because I don't want it to be completely identical. And now at frame 3, I want those wings to be going down. So I'm just going to do one wing and then basically copy it onto the others. So 1, 17, 9, 5, and 13. And then at frame 3, wait, so body, wait, I'm doing this backwards, aren't I? Yeah, sorry about this. Let's just go back to the body control. And wait, if I can select it. There we go. No, I've selected the wrong thing. I could create a shelf tab for this. There we go. Control. So that's the main body control route. And if I go back to my my translate, what I really want to do is have those keys up there. So following the thumbnails, he's going up, body up at frame 3, and then down. So it's down at 1 with the wings up, down at 5 with the wings up at 3, and so on. So now let's go back to 3 and let's animate the wings. So I take that wing there and I'm going to rotate it down. So the wing's now in the down position. There we go. So we've got opposing action. And then at 7 it goes back up. Then it's, sorry, 5 the wing goes back up. And then at 7 that wing is down again. And I'm not worrying about having it in exactly the same position as it was at frame 3. In fact, I don't particularly want it to be, because I want to create a little bit of a cycle that isn't exactly the same. Otherwise, it's all going to strobe massively. And I need to do the same at 15. So the wing is going down at 15. Again, just following the thumbnails. Press A in the graph editor, and now I get something that looks like that. Now, that's all fine, but obviously we need to, and the main rotation we've got here is in the x-axis. Now, if you go back to the thumbnails, you'll see that we don't want a complete in-between between 1 and 3. We want the wing to favor, you'll see here in the chart, this number 2 is favoring frame 1, and here number 4 is favoring frame 3. So here at frame 2, I'm going to pull the wing up a little bit, so that curve is favoring frame 1. And I'm going to reverse the wingtip by selecting the AB control here and then middle mouse dragging it so that it's reversing in the actually we could reverse it there as well, so we get some drag there. And then here let's reverse it the other way, but actually let's do the rotate Z first. So there we set a keyframe, so we want that wingtip favoring 4 is going to favor frame 3, and then 6 is going to favor like that, and then 8 is going to favor like that. So we're not creating perfect in-betweens here, we're favouring the pose it's just come out of. There we go. Now let's go ahead and do that wingtip. So as the wing comes up at 4, it bends that way. As the wing comes down at 6, it bends the other way. Down at 7, let's bend it. Up at 8, that looks good. I'm doing this quickly because it's all going to go past very fast anyway. Let's reverse it there. Up at 12, that's fine. Down at 14, down at 15, up at 16, and then 17 is the same as 1. So let's just hit spacebar and see what we've got. Great. Okay, so that's looking about right. That's pretty close to what we should have. So I'm going to see if I can copy all the curves here. Go to the top of the node there and go drag select all of those, edit, copy, and then go to this wing, go to frame 1, set a keyframe, edit, paste. That didn't work very well. Edit, paste, let's try it again. Cool, that did work that time. Okay, the reason it worked better, just hit Z, is this time I selected those keyframes and then went edit, paste, and Maya seems to have liked that better. Okay, so now we've got the butterfly flapping. Good. Now let's do a little bit of action on those feet. So I'm going to drag select all the feet, do them at once. So frame 1, so where the body's down at frame 1, that means the feet are going to be up. So let's set a keyframe at 5, 9, 13, and 17. So at frame 3, the body's up, so the feet are going to be down. And then again at 7, feet down. And at 11, feet down. And at 15, feet down. So the feet are basically counter animating against the body. Something like that. And now we could go into this and fiddle with it more, but I'm going to leave it there because I think that's reasonably plausible. And I'm going to save this out. So in effect, what we have now is a 4-frame cycle that is repeating 4 times. So I'm just going to select, turn off select surface object, select all my curves, and I do want to turn on my infinity curves. So I'm going to drag select all these keyframes and go curves, pre-infinity cycle, curves, post-infinity cycle, and then here, view, infinity. And I will need that for the for this work to work when we attach it to a motion path. Otherwise, it won't work properly. So there we go. That's our flap cycle, and that's the end of the first part of this tutorial. Apart from, of course, saving our work. I'm going to call this flap cycle. Actually, I'm going to call it flap cycle final, because that way I know what it is, and if I do other versions of this, I know I've got the final flap cycle so that I can later on, if I want to, import multiple copies of this butterfly flapping into my shot, and I won't get it muddled up with other versions.